What's up, guys? So, Secret Mission episode 5 is here, and we gotta get another short episode. But I feel like with this episode, things got intense, and even though with this, it's going directly into the finale, and even if the show is gonna stick the landing, and even with the ending to this episode, is that we brought in Nick Fury back, even for a big showdown, is that we gonna wrap up the story nicely as well. And so, in this video, will be a full review and explain for Secret Mission episode 5, go over everything down even for what my predictions are as we're into the finale of the show, and this is gonna stick the landing as well. And so if you're new to the channel and just like this, be sure to subscribe with the bell so don't miss out on videos like this. And so let's get into it. And now we open this episode on President Resident being taken to the hospital with Fury sitting with him. It's because at the end of the last episode we saw the president getting attacked with a Gravik that killed Talos, and even with Fury that says that these words to the president, and he says do not trust a girl Rose, and this means that Rhodey is definitely working with Gravik since he is a Skrull, and even when Gravik is still continuing his plan, and even Nick Fury is definitely preparing for his war. And next we see Gravik having a meeting with the Skrulls, and then he says with a target who is the president who is still alive, and then even with the Skrulls that like I said, and then he wanted to kill Nick Fury, and he told Bara to do it, and as of course with his wife that wanted to kill him, but then with a Gravik that he failed to do so, and even when they reveal is that with Fury that he had the Avengers DNA, and it wasn't any of the locations, which kind of foreshadowing at the end of the episode, which I'll get to in a bit. And even with Fury, that hits some DNA from the Avengers. And next we see Gravik on the phone with Rhodey, and then he tells him to tell the president, and with the Skrulls that are living in Russia, and they all must be eliminated. And then even though with the president who's told by Fury that do not trust Rhodey, and that means that with the Gravik, he's definitely preparing for his wars, especially with the super-skrulls, especially with the things that Fury does not want to see, and he's definitely does not want to see is his Skrulls die, and even with Gravik is definitely preparing for his war. And even with a Gravik that is planning to kill Fury, and even with his plans to do so, even with his war that he's planning with the super-skrulls, and next we Rhodey in the hospital wanting to go to the president, and then he is threatened by Fury who is going to kill him, and then even with Rhodey who is threatening him, that he'll send the footage of him killing Maria Hill, and it'll make him the most wanted man on the planet. And even when I saw that Rhodey is definitely the Fury, even with Rhodey, he's definitely part of the super-skrulls, especially working for Gravik as well. And even with Fury that's going to Gravik to having a showdown with them, and even with Rhodey here as definitely threatening Fury if he ever goes anywhere near the president again. And then we see the shot right here is that it's proving and that Fury is definitely having a showdown, and with his war that's about to go down, especially with the super-skrulls, and even with so I think things just got intense. Next we see Gravik on the phone with Rhodey, and then he's aware of the strike that's about to go down, and then even when I saw that with Gravik who was on the phone, and then we see the rest of his people trying to attack him, and then we see this full intense scene with Gravik as it's going a full Skrull on them, and then we see Gravik as an actual Skrull trying to kill everyone in the room, and then even with this violence that we see here, thing with the intensity is definitely kids up a notch, and especially a Gravik here as a full-on Skrull. And now, as we see Fury and Gaia here, and even with the scene here, it just proves that with these characters who are left standing to fight this war on their own, and that as with Fury, Gaia, and Priscilla as well, and even with Gaia who is aware of her dad Tails who is dead, and that she says that he died on a foreign country on a foreign road, because and also with Gaia that said that he maybe far away from him because she knew and that he was gonna lose, and that with the Tails that he definitely did, and now that he is dead, and even with that, so I think that leaves these characters standing to fight this war. And then next we see Sonya investigating these people, especially about this machine involving the super-skrulls. And even with this performance right here, Olivia Colman is definitely the scene stealer in the show, and I just love her performance in this. And then we see her kind of exposing them, and even with this machine that's involving the super-skrulls as well. And even with her exposing these people about the machine and his plans, and they have to, of course, burn it down. Even Dr. Dolan that says they'll never betray a Gravik, and which Israel means that these people definitely were working with Gravik, and even so we see shooting him, and then even we see this blue blood on her, and which means that these people are definitely Skrulls. And now, as we see Gaia and Priscilla meeting, and it's good with Gaia that wants Priscilla to help her bury Tails, and then we see this intensity right here where they are being attacked, and which this means that they are in danger, and with Furious wife who is definitely in risk of dying, and even with so I think it proves that the war is definitely going down, and we're in the endgame, especially with these two who were just attacked. And now let's go over the ending to this episode, and that's with Fury and Sonya visiting his grave, and with Sonya that asks about why couldn't he call up the Avengers and they come and help him defeat Gravik and the super-skrulls, and then we see him giving this a beautiful speech right before he guys go into war, and he says that none of them fought and live the way that he did, and then we see that there's a tombstone a little thing of it, it's because even though it's a fake, and we can see inside his tombstone, it's Avengers DNA in the vial that Gravik is after, and now especially with the vial that was hidden in Fury's tombstone, and that is the one that Gravik is after, even though that he tried looking for it, but Fury kept it hidden, and that is the whole harvest of vial that Gravik is looking for, especially with his plan with the super-skrulls. And plus, because it was this whole plan, and that he would deliver the vial to Gravik himself. And now, in this last scene right here, we can see that Fury is definitely preparing for his fight. We can see grabbing his jacket and his eye patch and his gun, and which we tell Fury is definitely back, and then we can see him doing the pop the collar, and which means next week in the finale things are going to be definitely intense, and even with Fury in a showdown with Gravik. And now, even for what my predictions are, especially as we're heading into the finale next week, because we're wondering if the show is going to stick the landing in it, because I think it definitely will. But even with the show that showed up in a movie, and even with the showed up between Fury and Gravik that's about to go down, even with this war involving the super-skrulls, and even for what's going to happen to Gaia, and even with a Furious way about Priscilla, if she's going to die, because I think she's definitely in danger, and I think she definitely will, but even with the show as a whole, it kind of felt like a spy thriller, but at the same time, it was kind of a little bit slow, especially with these short episodes. But I think it will definitely set the landing, especially near towards the end of the show. And on top of that, especially with Gaia, who we barely get to spend time with in the show, but I think in the finale, I think we'll definitely get to see that, and especially as we're going to see these last few people left standing to fight Gravik and the super-skrulls, especially with this machine, as it'll be gonna change everything for what we know so far, and even with that. So I think with this finale, it's definitely gonna set up everything in the future of the MCU, especially with the Skrulls, and even I hope I get to show more of Gaia, especially in the finale. And yeah, so I really enjoyed episode 5 of Secret Invasion, even though with this episode that was short, it definitely set up everything for the finale next week. I'm hoping that's a little bit longer, especially with the showdown that we're about to witness, especially between Fury, Gravik, and the super-skrulls as well. And even though with that show, I think with the show, it's about to set up everything for the future of the MCU, especially with the Marvels and Armor Wars, especially with Olivia Colman, who is definitely given an outstanding performance, especially the remainder of the show, especially with a guy who's definitely going to play a bigger role in the finale, especially with a Furious Wave. I'm hoping that we're going to see a high stakes for these characters, and I think with the finale as definitely going to be insane. I'm hoping that it sticks the landing, especially for the show as well. And so that is going to be it for first video. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and what your thoughts on Secret Invasion episode 5, and how excited are you for the finale next week, and get ready to hear 1 out of 10. Give this video a like and subscribe and turn on notifications about future videos, and also follow my socials, which are linked down below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.